Okay, so I'll get started. Happy New Year, everybody. So we've got some exciting things in the mix and a lot of stuff launching, including some teams that we're going to start firing up here over the next couple of weeks. So we'll be taking applications for that, as well as rolling out our new agent hub, which I know I did present a little while ago, but I've expanded some of the resources on this. So obviously starting with support and the things that you need, the thing they're most important, right? Transactional stuff. So finding documents, as how to use documents, as well as how to get support from us. So front and center would be the sort of search box. So now anything that you're looking for as far as documentation goes, the listing agreements and so forth, or whatever the form categorization is, you'll be able to just grab the document right here from the search box, nice and easy, along with anything else that you're looking for on the website. Hopefully everybody's on Slack, which is like this. If you've downloaded the desktop app, download the desktop app and the mobile app. This is a good place to keep in touch or get sort of faster support, because it's able to ping us on our phones and so forth, as opposed to email or responding to web chats and so forth. Channels in here, the agent channel for general conversation, Lorry and Easy Mortgage available here for any pre-qualifications and so forth. Hopefully you've got all of these channels. So Easy Mortgage answers for anything, any questions you got mortgage related, or if you need instant pre-qualification, and I say instant with an asterisk. Private listings, if you've got anything off market you want to share, as well as access to the legacy real estate forms and disclosures. Those, as of February 1st, are all going to be on the new agent portal. So, of course, you can get us by phone anytime. We pride ourselves on actually answering the telephone to people. And I think a number of agents come over from other brokerages just because we answer the telephone, as best and promptly as we can. And then, of course, email. In here, your library of real estate forms, closings. You can request your commission disbursement authorization, knowledge base, which is the how-tos on real estate forms and processes, everything, down to adding a listing to My State MLS or the lockbox system and so forth. We're building that knowledge base out. We will continue to build that over the course of the year, but of course, this is our initial rollout, and we've tried to get enough stuff prioritized in there. Sorry, there's messages from agents coming in saying they can't. There's no audio. And then let's see here. Yard signs, the ability to references for yard sign companies that can do the installation, as well as photographers, and then marketing. So a question we did get asked was, where do we get templates and so forth? So all of the Canva templates for business cards, postcards, for sale signs, and so forth, as well as other resources, are in the marketing section there. And then I have started to build out some education around probate, short sales, foreclosures, getting buyer leads, seller leads, investor leads, and then specifics around sort of home, residential real estate transactions, land transactions, and commercial transactions. And of course, as I mentioned, the teams that we're launching. So Orlando, Southwest Florida, and Tampa are the three areas that we are focused on there. So the way the teams will work is we will assign an area to an agent. So you'll have a farming area for which we'll do all of the marketing for you. So build out the website, build out direct mail campaigns, everything down to promote you as the go-to, or is the Easy Realty team as the go-to team in that area, and then we'll assign a specific territory where we're running ads and have SEO campaigns and so forth going on, and then inside sales agents to qualify the leads, and transaction coordinators to do all the transactional stuff, and of course, coaching and training all the way through it to jumpstart some business there. So those will be on up to a 50-50 split with the agent, and on a there's sort of no I in team. So all business will be the team's business, but 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing, right? So we're looking for team players in that regard, and we can the way we'll structure it is that we will have everything done for you in terms of marketing and service. And, we're going to run a system, a process, agreements, nicely printed, glossy, standardized, so that, this is what we offer for every home, 500 to 750,000, 500 to a million or whatever it is. And then, a million to 1.5 and 1.5 plus, let's say, be just slightly different marketing plans for different homes depending on the where they fit into the market. So that's the teams. So this, as I say, is launching on February 1st. So we have some Q&A here. So anonymous user, how can I access the site? I'm a new agent, right? So the agent portal is coming up on agents.easy.realty. It's going to be publicly available. So we're making this a resource for everybody. There's not really there's not really anything proprietary here to hide. So nice, easy access there where we're not having to manage usernames and passwords and so forth. And hopefully some of the information that's on here will be a useful resource for other agents in the real estate community if they're not necessarily, if they're looking for further education, or if they're looking for just how to get themselves through a transaction correctly. I think the free advice that goes a long way there. Greg, do you want to jump in?
Give me a second. I'm just trying to figure out the view on it. I think there's one or two other people maybe experience some issues here, but there was one or two items I want to go over to. But just give me a couple of minutes while I get the view back up on here properly, because I can't actually see any video at the moment. I joined initially on my phone. There you go. Am I seen at the moment?
Yes.
Oh, we are. Okay. So if I could share my screen potentially, and then one of the things I wanted to go over is the things I tend to use on a daily basis, really. So how do I share my screen here? Hang on, share content.
Share button.
Okay. Tell me when you can see this, because it's the one thing I go over and repeat on a daily basis to everybody. Are you able to see this yet?
Not yet. On the left-hand side, you might have to turn the little toggle.
Okay. I love technology when it works. Left-hand side little toggle. Oh, it says allow. Okay. Bring presenters on screen and share the content you want attendees to see. What am I doing here, kid?
Do you see your...
That one. That one?
No, the other one, the screen. So where's your screen?
That's my screen, but...
If you click on share at the top right.
Top right, sorry.
Share at the top.
Yeah, I see it.
And then you should be able to select the screen.
I gotcha. Okay. Now I'm with you. Windows 5. It's one of these.
There you go.
No, that's not the one. It's that one I want. Now do you see it?
Yeah, there you go.
All right. So I don't know how you pronounce this. It's Sajda, or is the J silent, Sada, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's essentially a means of which you can edit a PDF document for free, and you can do 3 documents per hour, completely free of charge. Notice I've not even logged in at this point, although you can create a free account. I can just simply upload a PDF document. I'm going to take one at random and then show you how very, very easy it is. Let's say, I don't know, I've got a
quick
desktop
alternative to a DocuSign, isn't it? Or paying for a
Well,
you weren't looking to pay for a DocuSign. If you weren't looking to pay for a DocuSign subscription, any of the real estate transaction forms that you download from the agent portal, you can drop them right over here into Sager and fill out the content.
Now, there's a number of different things on here. You can see all of these options at the top of the page. You can, if you've got a particularly large PDF file and you need, let's say sometimes some email providers won't send very large document sizes, you can compress it and reduce the file size. You can edit existing text. You can merge pages, delete pages, crop things. I utilize this edit function and also fill and sign. So for example, if I go and upload this document again, I was just looking at, and I want to be able to add a signature, I can do that very, very easily. Again, I've not even logged in at this point. Let's just find out one of these random PDF files when it shows up. Okay. Errors were detected. Of course they are. So sign. I'm not sure why this is not doing what I'm asking it to do. See, there's direct links, as you can even share the links so someone else can basically sign it.
If you upload the PDF file, and
Yeah,
then
maybe I'll do
Grace Street or something.
yeah. Well, that's a broker synopsis.
Most
It's
people
just
would be fairly familiar with this from. So now at the top,
you got this
your
sign function here where you can take an existing signature and literally add it anywhere on the document. You can resize it, you can move it around. It is a transparency, so you can put it over the top of a line for something. And then once you get the document exactly how you want it, you click apply changes. Now, it takes just a couple of seconds to process this. Once it's done that, you can either download the document. What I tend to prefer to do is to print it, not physically print it onto a printer with paper, but I utilize this option, which allows me to save it as a PDF rather than utilizing the download function. So you see here, look, I can save it as a PDF. And then effectively, you've got a flattened version. When you white out some of the documents, it will give you a warning that if you download it, then somebody else later can come along and reveal what was previously hidden. But if you flatten into this
that's actually a
version,
good piece of advice, because if you do download it, and sometimes when you try and then if somebody else is sticking it into DocuSign, like to countersign it, there's
yeah,
things in that PDF when it hasn't been flattened, like you say, that the DocuSign flags as though you're trying to alter a document that's already been executed. So
right.
if you I agree with that. If you're looking to if you're signing something that requires a counter signature, using that print option, fixes anything that any issue that they might have on the other end related to it recognizing that it's already been picked up.
One of the other things I wanted to go over real quick was the fact that when we download documents from the MLS, so you've got a transaction desk, you can pre-complete documents. The problem is if you download them and try to edit them, they're all password protected and they won't share the password with you. But if you utilize what I've just suggested, which is download and save them as a PDF, it again flattens them and you can then upload them to Sado and add your signatures and edit them and add various different bits of other text that are needed as well at the same time. So again, another workaround these stupid rules and regulations that Stella have in terms of these documents. Another thing I wanted to show you real quick here is just the speed at which I can give the valuation of a particular property. So here we've got a tax search. I can put in, for example, let's go to Duval County, which I happen to own this one. Click the wrong button here. Duval County, and we can just put in the first couple of lines of an address. Start the search. It will come up with an address here, and then you get this report that comes out, which gives you, a sales history. So there's two properties that make up this single place, but notice here we've got a property tax button, which gives you all of the details of the property taxes that are paid. Look at how quickly you get a current estimated value of this property. It's immediate. Now, you can also pull in comparables. I typically like to get 3 comparables. And what it's going to do here now, you'll see, is it'll give you these 2 functions here. Now, these are typically used by real estate appraisers. So a value ratio is the ratio at which the properties have sold nearby in relation to a proportion of their property tax values. The other one is on a price per square foot basis. Now, you can play around here with the different lot sizes. You can ignore the lot size. You can change the distance at which it's pulling properties in from and update the criteria. And these numbers will typically change depending on, there you go. The closer you can get these 2 numbers together, the more accurate a valuation is. But I can do these things literally, as you've just seen, in seconds. So if somebody wants to know how much is my property worth, there's the answer. You've got two of the 3 methods that an appraiser would use, the other being a complete rebuild cost, which obviously is not as relevant in the current circumstances, but certainly when you're doing brand new properties. But there was a couple of items I wanted to go over real quick with you, just to see the speed at which you can get this information. Obviously, I can save these files and email you a copy of that in a matter of seconds if anybody needs a little bit of help.
And actually, just while we're on the topic of these landing pages, if anybody is looking for a home valuation landing page, We have those for seller lead generation and so forth. We have those. They can put an address in. These work anywhere in the country, and you can run Google ads against these. So we do have these available if you want to reach out, if you're looking to do any landing pages for lead generation, and this will give them an instant home value. You can even tune it slightly to where you can add or detract, or add or subtract 5, 10%, whatever it is, to make the value more accurate there. We got some questions. Feel free to use the question and answers function. There should be a button somewhere in your view if you've got some question and answers. So I've got one here. How do we get access to Stellar? I thought it was my state MLS only. So I've got a position on this as of this year, which is, and I've used an analogy to several people that may have heard this, so forgive me for repeating myself, but the MLS existed for the purpose of sharing commissions between real estate agents, and it was a way for realtors to share the wealth. So listing on the MLS, it was mandatory that you put something in the commission box. It could be a percentage, it could be $1, but you had to offer some sort of cooperating compensation to the other agents, the other participants in the MLS. And this was the, everybody's a winner, let's share everything, sort of, NAR indoctrination and mentality. The analogy that I've used is in regard to like a car dealership. If you were to take your car and put it on consignment with a dealer, and let's say they charged you 10% to sell the car for you, they would put it on Auto Trader or Cars.com, whichever one they preferred, and that would get your vehicle in front of the market. Then buyers would either fill out a form or call the dealer and they would come and see the car. Well, very similar in real estate, right? The market is the likes of Zillow, Realtor.com, Homes.com, Trulia, and everywhere else that listings are syndicated. Well, my state MLS syndicate to more listing sites than the CoreLogic's Matrix, which is what Stellar MLS is, as well as Beaches and most of the other ones. The chances of a car dealer going to all of the other car dealerships in the town and saying, hey, I'll give away, if you've got a buyer for this vehicle, I'll give you half of the commission that the client is offering, or has agreed to pay me. And the chances of that happening are pretty much nil. So same thing or same mentality with with selling a property, right? You take it, you want to get it in front of the market, which is in front of all of the buyers, which my state MLS achieves that. And the chances of the buyer not coming attached with an agent, remember the buyer's broker agreement is between that realtor and a buyer, nothing to do with you. Right? We're nothing to do with NAR. We have none of their rules on how their agents operate under their trade organization applies to us. The Florida law governs the way that we operate. So putting the listing on my state MLS, you're much more likely to be acting as a transaction broker and facilitating both sides of the transaction, as opposed to paying off another realtor because somebody's come attached with something else. And that makes it easier. You're not negotiating, who's paying what commission with those guys. And of course, the transaction can a lot of times be a lot more frictionless than if you don't have to deal with another agent on the other side of it. So that's so we do have. So the way that the MLSs work, and we're a member of two, which are Stellar and Beaches, and those will be the last ones that we're joining. We're not going to give up the memberships of them, but those will be the last ones that we're joining as far as Realtor MLSs go. They have a one-in, all-in membership requirement. So if the company is a member of the MLS, then all of the agents under that company have to be a member of the MLS. So we have two companies with the same name or the same DBAs, and one is a member of the MLSs, the other one is not a member of the MLSs. This doesn't change things with my state MLS. You would still be essentially, when our join now, which we'll clarify over the coming months, but if they're a member of the realtor, is join with a realtor MLS or join without a realtor MLS. So that would be Stellar or Beaches. But we can switch you at any time if you end your If you end your Realtor MLS membership, that's fine. It takes 30 seconds to make a change. If you wanted, for whatever reason, to become a member or reactivate your Stellar membership, again, we can switch you back over there. Just let us know with a just let us know and we'll get that done ASAP for you.
Message on Slack, yeah. There was I kind of heard of an interesting analogy. Really, I was utilizing the analogy that's been considered by Amazon and Jeff Bezos, and what their idea is using the principle and the idea of, do you have an electric drill? If you have an electric drill and you use it every day, you're an electrician. That's fine. You need an electric or a drill of some kind. But if you use it once a year or twice a year, do you really need a drill that you own? A drone can drop one off at your front door in 10 minutes with all the appropriate fixings, a couple of spare drill bits, a fully charged battery, and you can use it for half an hour, and then the drone picks it up, takes it back, and you pay $1. You don't really need an electric drill. And so apply that logic to the MLS. If you're using the MLS on a daily basis, you're working there full time, yes, have your own MLS. But there is an argument that says you only really need one MLS. It's
For
more
the agents though, I mean, so we've got a solution for this, right? So my stance on it is nothing to do with Realtor MLSs. We just use my state MLS and we go direct to the consumer with the listings, and that would be that would be the way that I would do it. You may want to put your listing on the MLS for the Realtor MLS and have another realtor bring their client to you. I still stand by the fact that most buyers will see it on Zillow or somewhere anyway. And when you list a property on the MLS, when you tell your client that you've listed the property, first thing they do is go to Zillow and say, "Oh yes, I see the listing. Can you change this, please?" We have a couple of options. If you've joined Easy Realty without MLS, you can find every listing that's on the MLS on homes.com unfiltered. If you need to list a property on the MLS, we do have a listing coordination service where we'll put it on for you for $250 paid after the closing. That way you don't have to subscribe to the MLS. We'll just have you fill out a listing input form with all the details that you want and all the settings that you want, and we'll go ahead and do that for you. If there's price changes or whatever, the pictures, just give us 12 pictures in numbered order through 12, and we'll upload those for you. Likewise, if you need us to get you access to via showing time to a particular property that's on a Realtor MLS, and we can do that. Again, $250 at the close of escrow, but we'll contact the listing agents and make arrangements for you to show the property and get you a one-time access code so that you can get into the super lot boxes. We are in the process of setting up the National Association of Realty Agents, and Supra will be set up as a board with Supra so that we have our own lockbox system. So if you have a listing that's on my state MLS, you can put a Supra lockbox on the property, and you can give realtor or an appraiser or a home inspector a one-time lockbox code through the Supra app, and they'll be able to access the properties. So the way that we call realtors for access to a one-time access code for their lockboxes, they'll call us for one-time access codes to our lockboxes. So hopefully, as we get to a couple of thousand agents in the market place, and we've got a 25% market share of non-nar members, National Association of Realty Agents members, versus Realtor members. Will be trading lockbox codes.
And I think perhaps you want to mention that there's going to be no fee to join the National Association.
There's no fee. $4.95 a transaction side. That's it. The only thing you'll have to pay for is the Supra service itself, which will be the same as it is everywhere else, like $15 a month. I have a couple of questions here. So, as a new team member, where would I find templates for business cards, logo, email signature, etc.? So those will be on the new agent portal as of the beginning of next week. So that'll be agents.easy.realty. Obviously, I'll announce that when everything's live on there. You don't need access or anything like that. Everything's just freely available to make it as easy as possible.
I
The
think
next
so, mate. It might be appropriate to mention the fact that we're transitioning to digital business cards. So these are not physical business cards per se, but a QR code similar. I don't know if anybody can see the screen, similar to this kind of thing that somebody can scan. You can also text it. You can email it to somebody. You can, if you wish, have a. Is it called an RFD or a near field device?
the NFC, near field
Yeah.
communication.
So you can have a physical business card that you keep in your purse or your wallet, and when somebody wants to have your details, you can actually just put it near to their device, and it will automatically prompt them to save your information. You can buy it as a one-off. You can customize it, add the Easy Realty logo if you want. You get a QR code as well. But for a free device, there's an option for that as well. And I think it's really so much better because if your information changes, you can go online and just update it. You don't have to reprint everything. Because how many people, I mean, I've got a desk still full of business cards. I've never bothered putting the information in. It's just too much time and trouble to go and physically type it in whilst, it's pointless. Whereas this thing, text it to somebody, email it, have them scan it, and it just prompts you, do you want to save this to your device? Yep, thanks very much. And your details are there and will be updated over time.
Yeah,
Much.
we have the link in bio as well that you can set up. That's coming with the agent portal. So there's instructions there on how to configure this, but again, it can just give you, so this is easy.realty/LIB for link in bio, and then your name will be after it. So you can pick the URL and then you can configure these buttons. So that calls, emails, WhatsApp message, Instagram, LinkedIn, website, or my meeting booking link there. So you can, through the agent portal in the marketing section, you'll be able to create a link in bio that you can use for all of your social media as well. And this can be, like Greg said, this can be configured with a QR code that points to it, as well as a download. So they could download a VCF, the digital business cards file. I'm also looking for a solution where you can just tap your phone against somebody else's phone, and that's the NFC. So then it'll just bring up your contact information on their phone. So bear with me on that. I'm just trying to figure out the technical bits there. The next question I had here was how to get paid. So if you need a commission or distribution authorization, then you just go to easy.realty/get paid. The other that'll also be available under the transactions, the closings section of agents.easy.realty on the agent portal. There you'll be able to access the same form to just fill out with the transaction details and who's getting paid what, and we'll process that with you. And then you'll just upload your transaction documentations, or you can email them to hi@easy.realty. So we've got everything prior to your closing to get everything signed off so that you can get paid directly from the closing, which is what we would prefer, and I'm sure what everybody else would prefer as well.
Yeah, there are some occasions when the closing agents, whether it's a law firm or a closing title company, whatever it is, they won't do it. And they insist on sending the payment directly to me. In those circumstances, if you can grab your bank's wiring instructions, I have the ability to initiate wires immediately. The same day, if it's before a certain time, I think it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Otherwise, it'll clear the following day. But I'll need a routing number, the account name, and the name of the bank, along with the bank account number. And I can literally just wire funds straight out to you. I think that there's a small fee. They might charge $15 or $20 or something for it. But, to get that money in your account quickly is far easier than literally having to wait for Postman Pat to come around and bring you a check. And then you've got to pay it in and wait for it to clear. It's a lot easier and simpler to do it that way. But as I say, most cases, they'll just pay you direct and send us the transaction fee separately.
Greg, a question for you here as the expert in LLCs. Can we please touch on LLCs and personal websites/domains for agents? I am working towards dual certification in New Hampshire, and I would like to file a DBA for my LLC and market myself to snowbirds and retirees in New England. Any specific verbiage that I need to include on my site? Does it need to be pre-approved before launching? So I think that just to split this up into a couple of things.
Yeah.
The LLCs, right? So we offer a white label service. So the rule of thumb here is sorry, the law is that you have to have the brokerage's name or logo anywhere on any marketing piece, because all business is the broker's business. So you have to have your legal name as it appears on your license, as well as the brokerage's name or logo on any marketing piece. If you've got an LLC, you can do a you could that's a personal LLC for you, right? So we have a DBA service that for you can pay us $99 a month, and you can operate white label your own company under Easy Realty, and we will file the DBA um, with the DBPR as and you can use that DBA, so you can use your own company name. And as I say, that's $99 a month for the DBA service. As far as your personal LLC, Greg, that's just a case of it has to be your full legal name, correct? If you were to
Well,
operate
if
as a
my understanding, if it's filed as an LLC, you'll need a license for that LLC if it's a separate LLC. So, for example, I've got technically 4 real estate licenses. I've got 2 personal licenses for the 2 companies and 2 more licenses for the LLCs. And the license numbers will start BK typically for a broker, SL for a salesperson, and CQ for a corporation or an LLC.
as well, I learned today.
But that's a broker associate.
BL is a broker associate. So if
Yeah.
you are a broker of your own company, you're a BK. If you're under another broker, you're a BL, which is a broker sales associate, which is the status you need to fall in under us, which of course
Yep.
you don't have to have your own E&O insurance and various other things that
Right.
you'd have to set your own corporation fees and all the rest of it that you'd incur every year if with your own company. But I think for the personal LLCs, Greg, it just has to be your full legal name, right? That they file that to be, and when we pay
You can call it whatever you like, as long as it's not
but you
already
can't
used.
operate just because you have an LLC as an agent for you to get paid. It doesn't mean that you can go and it doesn't mean that you can go and operate, making it look like a company that is, I don't know, Lakeland Realty, for example, right? If you wanted to own and operate under, or if you wanted to operate under Lakeland Realty, you could use our DBA service. We file the DBA, right?
Yeah.
Which and then you could operate as, hi, this is Mike from Lakeland Realty. You could absolutely do that if you've got our DBA service. You as an agent, you're still Mike from Easy Realty. So hopefully that answers the question. As far as your domain name, that's a marketing piece. You can do whatever you want. Again, your full legal name as it appears on your license has to be somewhere on the marketing piece, and the brokerage name or the brokerage logo need to be on the marketing piece, and neither of those 2 things can be in any smaller than the smallest font used elsewhere on the business card or marketing piece. So if the phone number is the smallest text on the card, right, then those 2 things also can't be any smaller than that. You can't, micro print those things.
You might want to mention, Stu, you might want to mention for the new people that have joined in the last few days, and there's quite a number of them, the fact that we have this AI bot that effectively has read the entire Florida Chapter 475 and can answer all of your legal questions in a moment's notice for free.
Sorry, I spent a lot of time on that at the end of last year. So I trained an AI on Florida state law. So that I loaded the whole of Statute 475 into and trained this AI on that. So the problem I found was, and I used an example of this in the last town hall meeting we had, but I asked ChatGPT, hey, my name's Stuart, but I go by Stu. Can I put Stu on my business card? And ChatGPT said, sure, absolutely. It's just a marketing piece. You can put whatever you want on there. That's taking advice from agents and keyboard warriors that have posts on Reddit and, wherever else, whatever state, whatever country that those people might be it's learned from that. So, the crap in, crap out phase is, ideally suited to AI. So I trained this our AI on Florida state law only. It's not connected to the internet. It doesn't have any access to misinformation. So I took the answer. So I asked it the same question, and it said, absolutely, you can put Stu on the business card. However, you must also have your full legal name as it appears on your license in no smaller than the smallest print, also on the business card. And I fed that back to ChatGPT, and I said, hang on, I was just told this. You're absolutely correct. You do have to do that. Sorry for the mistake. So you get the legal answer. And again, this will be available on, it'll be in the bottom right-hand corner as just a chat bot on the agents.easy.realty portal. You'll be able to access that for any questions that you have related to the, how do I do things, right? As far as the extent of the law goes, to make sure that you keep yourself compliant. So these LLC questions, things like that, this would be it's a great place to ask the intricacies of the filings and so forth.
Any other questions at the moment?
Yeah, I was just looking for. I've got a couple more here. So, how to obtain distribution authorization? I covered that bit, and then how to upload or send in the transaction documents. Again, you can email them to hi@easy.realty, hi@easy.realty, or you can, as you'll be able to upload them at agents.easy.realty on the portal there. We don't provide a transaction management system. Again, we don't charge you any monthly fees, and we don't provide you with any technology that you don't want, right? That we're forcing you to pay for. So you can choose your own website provider. You can choose to take out a Skyslope account or Dotloop or whoever you want to use, whichever CRM you want to use. And my answer, which is the best real estate CRM, is it's the one that you use, right? If everything that you do happens in your CRM, then that's the best one. It's a case of using the tool. But while we're trying to provide as much as possible in the way of free educational stuff to get you motivated, keep you motivated, enable you to do more transactions, drive some leads for you, and anything else, our focus is just providing fanatical support to every one of our agents. Right. So, supporting you more than providing tools and so forth that at our discretion and making a profit center out of some monthly fees. That's not our bag. So, then general tools for newly joined members and anything else that would be needed. Again, I think the agent portal will bring quite a lot of that. But if anybody wants any help with lead gens, landing pages, or if you're interested, we'll get a sort of application process out here in the next few days for joining the teams, and we'll figure out areas and so forth. Any more final questions? Or Greg, do you have anything else to add as we wrap this up?
Not at this point. We're going to when's the next one of these things that we're going to do?
Try and do this every couple of weeks. So probably the 15th of February. I think every 2 weeks is fine. And we could maybe do a Tuesday or a morning and then an afternoon one, and switch between the two.
There is one thing I want to do and I want to get people's input as to and I'm going to put out several suggestions for sign riders, because obviously a sign has two functions. One is to convey a message, and the other is to get noticed. And that's why we see people tie balloons to these things and spinning tops and all these kind of things. I'm sort of in favor. I'm very much in favor of using real estate signs, because it drags in people that ordinarily wouldn't necessarily have shown an interest. You could have somebody that says, darling, I wasn't thinking of moving house, but I've had my eye on that one for a while. We should go and take a look because there's a for sale sign out there. The other is maybe utilize things where colors clash potentially, so they look ugly. Well, ugly gets noticed pretty well. And so I want people's feedback. I'm going to put together a series of suggestions for sign riders that will make your phone ring. One of which potentially is that we use a standard sign that you can pick up, but then you add, for example, your name and telephone number on the top. You might want to put something such as open daily call for times. It could just be a simple arrow if you've got a series of townhouses, and you want to clarify which one of those is available. Also, this thing whereby you could potentially get somebody could text some information to a certain number and get information about the property, and the agent simultaneously receives a text, so you know that a certain person is looking outside your listing at exactly the time they are. Pick the phone up. Say, is this the only one you're looking for, or is there anything else that you would be interested in that I can email you? And pick up clients like that. You could potentially find clients, buyers, or maybe even sell your own listing.
Speaking of signs, I came across this guy the other day that, bear with me a second.
I'm not sure I can see this, but
He came with a he came with
okay.
Canadian.
I gotcha.
Anyway, sorry, just thought I'd share that. Perfect. So we'll wrap things up. Any questions following this? Just reach out to us on Slack. If you need any help with anything, or give us a call.
No.
Happy New Year to everybody.
Okay. Take care. Many thanks.